Isn't that pretty?
What a lovely spot.
I raise antique roses. And I have 2 gardens of them, and they're incredible. I lost one this year. There's 2 beds.
Yeah.
I lost one this year after 40 years with the winter storm. But other than that, they're fine.
What a beautiful spot.
Isn't it a lovely spot?
Now, are you from Maine?
No,
You
I'm
don't
here.
sound like it.
I'm 40 years here from Massachusetts, an hour and a half from Boston. When I came, there were no houses here, just that little one over there, and of course this one. I owned the big one next door, and I changed it. I sold it finally and kept my land. And when I bought it, I bought the house and 1,000 feet and 3 acres for $35,000. The house was a wreck, and everybody thought I was out of my mind, because anyone in the village could have bought it for 15.
Exactly, right.
But I restored the house, and
Well, now look what's happened. This area has become very exclusive, hasn't
very
it?
exclusive, yeah.
Did you know that when you bought in, that it would become that?
No, I loved it. I mean, there were probably 4 of us here year-round on the peninsula, and I just loved it. And
Did you look a long time around?
no, I was a broker, and I came checking it out for someone else.
Oh, is that what happened? Yeah.
And I said, that's it. I didn't even go in the house. I fell in love with the land.
What else do you do? What
I
else you
write.
do?
I'm a poet.
Hey, little buddy. Hi.
Luca, come on. Look.
No, you can't go outside. Now, why did you call your house an Irish Gannet? Why the Irish Gannet?
Because I'm always back and forth to Ireland or Italy. And it's called Ode to a Room. A simple room, scrubbed and plain, with a small white tip-tilty table on which sits a round-based white lamp with a weak yellow bulb that sheds almost no light, a single bed against one wall. On the wall hangs an icon of the Black Madonna of Prague. Against the opposite wall, a simple wooden crucifix, and across from the bed, an old wardrobe looms. And on the bed, a coarse white coverlet is stretched with 2 starched pillow slips covering the lumpy pillows. The floor is simple scrubbed linoleum, some neutral shade of gray. And there is an old wooden student desk, scarred, chipped, but sweet-smelling from lavender-scented polish. In front of the desk, facing the window which has shutters of olive wood, open to the Tuscany sky, is a straight-backed chair, a bit wobbly, but not too comfortable. If I stand, I can see the walnut tree, the persimmon tree, the tall stone wall of the area privato. And this is the transition poem. I have finished the Italian section of the book, and I am moving into the Irish section, and this is the transition poem. On Tuesday, on the way back to San Gimignano from Torre del Lagos, Puccini's home, we stopped at Casa del Mar and feasted on fish, cooked in a spicy aromatic sauce, drank the local white wine, dry and fruity and tangy, with the strains of Tosca still with us. All around us people were laughing and eating and drinking, talking, and a voice coming from someone at the table in the corner had the unmistakable lilt of male. And I remembered. Last Tuesday, with 2 other friends, we were seated in Mannion's Pub in Bala Mayo at a sticky brown wooden table and drinking pints of Guinness, heavy and dark and creamy, while we waited for Tom Lyons and the Joe Banj Bang to get playing. All the talk quieted as the band began and Mike Holzer started strumming and singing Dirty Old Town, as if all the old Delta blues men in the world had reached right in and grabbed his soul. Too soon, the band started to put away their instruments, and Mannion was bringing around baskets of chips and sausages and wings. During the first quiet, a sweet soprano voice from the other end of the bar started singing, "Take Me Home to Mayo." One by one we joined in, quietly and reverently, remembering. There was a minute of silence when we finished, and then Mannion called, "Drink up, folks, drink up, folks. It's time, it's time."
Now, what is it about those two places?
Ireland is my ancestral home,
Okay.
and San Gimignano is my spiritual home, and that's where I again learned to believe in my childhood saints. I went to Italy about 5 years ago on a pilgrimage, covering the footsteps of St. Augustine. Stayed in San Gimignano, and San Gimignano is where the Convento of St. Augustine is, with the great frescoes, 12th century, and that's where they photographed and filmed Tea with Mussolini. And the prior, of course, is from Villanova and Merrimack, where I have some connections. And so I go back each year and do what I can there in terms of if there's guests, I'll help, I'll work. I mean,
Yeah.
you're expected to use your hands. But I mean, I was there last Christmas and we had 86 people from the village. And
Now, what is it about people in Europe, and especially in Italy? You sit down, you eat, there's more of a connection between the moment, it seems to me when I travel to Europe, and the family, and the dinner,
I
and
think
the
we've
eating,
lost it
and-
here. When I raised my kids, I would not allow TV. When I grew up, I mean, I was in a fatherless home during the Depression. My dad had died. And we were allowed a half hour of radio. And so I carried the custom on that in my own family, you sat for meals. The boys came to the table properly attired. No big deal, but they were going to wear a shirt to my table. And we talked. And in Europe, they're still doing that. We talk around the table. I mean, there's never TV going.
Right.
You know, at the convento, I primarily write. I do some cooking for them. I'm a pretty well-known cook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I did some like chocolate brioche with wild berry jams for them, and I do the wonderful Forelli pears in the local Chianti.
And they love your cooking.
They love my cooking, sure.
Isn't that great to
And
be
I
able to
love
go-
them, and
Sure.
the steady people there are only 4.
Right.
Augustinians, as you know, are poverty.
No, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
this is a poverty order. They don't get paid.
Oh, I see.
So,
Now, do you spend most of your time in the wintertime to these places? I would assume that...
no.
No?
I mean, I usually go to, last year, just it was by luck, I wanted to spend Christmas in Italy because I thought that I had a better touch on spiritual values there than I did here.
Are you Catholic?
Yes, I am.
Right.
And it's so commercial here now. I mean, it's almost frightening to see the glut. And our emphasis has been on things instead of on people.
The church is struggling right now here.
The church is struggling very, very badly.
Yeah.
And the Augustinians are the loosest of the order. In effect, Augustine said, "Listen, do what you want, but don't hurt other people." So,
You bet.
yeah, he's
Sure.
got a it's a nice attitude, and I love it. Sometimes I go to the Italian masses because they remind me of the Latin masses.
The way they used to be
my
done.
childhood,
Right,
which
right.
were very awe-inspiring, and was the incense, it was the smell of snow and wool and fur, it was the sound, and we could sing Adeste Fidelis at Christmas time, so it was a different kind of world back then, and we were so poor And the church was rich, for us with the colors and the saints and their wonderful paints, and we had a little real creche where we had an actual donkey and,
What do you think's going to happen? How do you see things working out?
I think the pendulum swings, and I think that people are starting to reach. I think I see it more in book trade. I'm seeing more of an emphasis on, I don't want to say returning to the land, but returning to more basic values. I see it with the monks of Skeet. I see it with the women who are writing about the Benedictine orders. I think we're going to reach back. Well, I think the connection is greater than, i.e., something to do with God or a Lord or a Savior. I think it's trying to center yourself, trying to get in touch with what's out there, understanding our affinity to the sea, our affinity to the land. I did a poem about our hay. We cut the hay, and I take the hay and I pile it down along the edge of the cliff. And I have 2 old apple trees. And in the winter I see the fox come, and I see the small ground animals there, and I see the deer at my tree, and I give thanks for that.
Yeah.
That's very special. And in 40 years this piece of land has never seen an artificial fertilizer. It has never seen a spray. Everything I do is from my compost or from things I make up with baking soda and Castile soap, and I want to be at one with that. I too am an animal. I remember they came one year, the fox, and they just about destroyed my chickens, which are gone now. And someone said to me, "Oh, did you shoot them?" And I said, "No." I said, "I was on their land. They weren't on my land. That land was theirs before somebody gave me a piece of paper."
Most people would shoot them.
I would not.
How do you feel about other people doing that?
I have no objection to a person who shoots an animal because they're going to place it on their table. While I am a vegetarian, I understand that ritual. I have absolutely no respect for a trophy hunter. That's killing to kill. And I think people who do that, if they lived on a farm where they had to kill their own pig for meat and kill their own chicken, I think they would have more respect for what it means to take a life. We've distanced ourselves from that with our pristine wrap it up, No, that's not the way to live.
Maybe we'll change.
I hope so.
If you keep writing poems the way you're writing them, maybe they're really beautiful poems.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Thank you.
I mean, you hear everything, you feel everything. It's very sensuous the way you write.
It is. It's very sensual.
Very sensuous.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that with us. I guess
my
we're gonna,
pleasure.
Are we heading over to the church?
We're heading over to the town hall, aren't we?
And then we're going to some chapel or something.
Right across the street.
Is it a Catholic chapel, or is it?
No, it's a non-ecumenical chapel.
Do you go there?
Sure. I support whatever's going. Listen, if Hare Krishnas came to the door and wanted a donation, I'd give him $5. I think anything that brings people together in peace and harmony for an hour is worth supporting.